dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today. You can't, there's no, the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact have kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree. And people go, and that people self-select where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the 45, 50 years I've been involved in this. And there's a lot of discussion now about how you curb those entities in order to guarantee that you're going to have, some accountability on facts, et cetera. But look, if people go to only one source and the source they go to is sick and, has an agenda and they're putting out disinformation.
Look who's talking. Look who's talking about source being sick, having agendas and pushing out disinformation. Well, that's all you've ever done. The mainstream media, that's all they've ever done, right? They've been sick and corrupt to the very core. Talk about disinformation. Time and time again, they've proven the fact that they cannot be trusted. So now you're having a problem with that because a lot of people have woken up to the fact that the mainstream media, all they do is push the agenda of the wicked elite, which John Kerry here, that's what he's all about, the agendas of the wicked elites. So now the people have woken up to it and they are seeking alternative news media, alternative news sources. So it's become a problem to them because now they cannot control the influx of information that people are not privy to. You see? So you can see the concern in his face. Because back in the days, it used to be you just go to CNN, that's the only source of news. And they control the narrative. Well, that is no longer the case. They cannot control the narrative anymore. A lot of people out there have circumvented the whole mainstream media news dilemma, right? Because a lot of people have found out other sources that are very reliable, and these sources are very quick to expose the agendas of the wicked elites. So now he's trying to gaslight you into thinking actually it's this alternative news medias, be it on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, a couple of other streaming channels out there. So he wants to gaslight you into thinking that they are the ones pushing the disinformation, right? Not them. Well, all you guys have ever done is lie. Take, for example, the whole 2020, pandemic thing. All you did was lie your way through all of it. You are the ones pushing out disinformation and striking the channels of alternative news media actually reporting the truth of what is going on. And years later, it turned out that all you guys did was lie. So he has a nerve to talk about some source being sick and, no factual information coming out of it, and they having agendas and pushing disinformation. I mean, he got the nerve to say that, right? Meanwhile, they are the ones doing all the things he labeled. They are the ones doing all the things he mentioned. Let's finish this out real quick.
Our First Amendment stands as a major block to the ability to be able to just, hammer it out of existence. So what we need is to win the ground, win the right to govern by hopefully having, winning enough votes that you're free to be able to implement change. Now, obviously, there are some people in our country who are prepared to implement change in other ways. And
so
that's
you're
really
questioning
dangerous.
really if democracy can survive unregulated social media.
I think democracies are very challenged right now and have not proven they can move fast enough or big enough to deal with the challenges that we are facing. And to me, that is part of what this race, this election is all about. Will we break the fever in the United States?
Now there you have it. So he's talking about the present democracy. They're not moving fast enough to crush truth. You know? Your freedom of speech. They're trying to do away with it. So very soon, he's hoping with this election and things of that nature that there wouldn't be any more alternative news medias. So truth will be scarce. It's not something you're going to have to see so freely like you see it now. Because there's a problem to the agenda. To have channels like this, various other channels, trying to expose the agendas. You see? Which brings us here real quick before we go any further. This is Psalms the 37th chapter and the 14th verse. It says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such that be of upright conversation. You see that? In the NLT, it says the wicked draw their swords and string their bows to kill the poor and the oppressed, to slaughter those who do right. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachahakodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom to all you brothers and sisters out there that of the household of faith, beginning with the 144,000 mighty men of the house of Israel, down to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are of the elect, and to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty. To you all, I say shalom, right? The clip we just saw, you seen John Kerry, the seriousness in his face, right? Because they're losing the narrative. That is the problem. They're losing it. Used to be a time where they can always bank on their mainstream media to push out propagandas, to pump out disinformation, misinformation, whatever, and the people will gobble it up. Life was easier back then, right? Life was easier for them back then. They didn't have to worry a whole lot. Now they have to stack up layers of lies and lies just so they can try to control whatever little they have of the narrative, right? Because you have the alternative news media beginning with the prophets, right? And, just the truth is out there bringing out a lot of information that you will never hear in the mainstream news media, right? So now mainstream news media are forced to shed light on some of these things. And when they do, they try to gaslight you back into comatose state, try to lull you back to sleep. You see? So this is why John Kerry is so serious about this. You can see he's talking about how democracy is not moving fast enough or big enough to handle all this situation. He's messed up in the head. And it's not just him, his handlers also, right? They're all messed up in the head. So what do you think they're going to, a cornered animal is going to lash out? So now they've been cornered. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to lash out. And part of that lashing out is to totally do away with the alternative news media. That is what they're going to do. This is why it's pertinent for you to get this truth while you can, to take all of this seriously and understand the times you're living in. So very soon, poof, vamoose, all of this will no longer be easily accessible to you, right? This truth will no longer be easily accessible to you because they're coming after it. All in the guise of, there's too much misinformation, disinformation out there, this sick news medias, alternative news media, we gotta try to put a lid on it because they've been running rampant, messing up their program and things of that nature, right? So now they're trying to put a lid on it, right? Which goes back to them having the digital identity. So this is part of all that digital identity crap, because it will be tied in to whoever will be online pushing whatever. If you don't have that digital identity, you won't be able to just put up any kind of videos out there. And even if you have digital identity, your information has to be directly from them, right? Whatever information you're putting out there has to coincide with the agendas. If not, you won't be able to put it out there. So they're looking to regulate the internet. They're looking to regulate social media outlets where people go to find informations and things of that nature. So this is why we had to pull the scripture out in Psalms the 37th chapter and the 14th verse that says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and the needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. So this is their main target right there. Those that are of upright conversation, because their conversation is nothing but wickedness, right? Lies. They're the true hateful individuals, man. Right? Because part of the agendas is to bring death, right? To bring control over everything, your food, the water, everything. That is hateful right there, right? But they will call you a hate speech just because you don't go along with the agenda. But look at what they're doing. GMO craps, the list goes on and on and on and on. They have HARP programs, weather modification programs, where they target certain areas and just totally, demolish that whole area, towns and things. And then when you call them out on it, this is very evil sources. They are very sick sources. We have to eradicate them. They're pushing out this information. Well, is it a lie? That is facts right there. You guys have machines that are able to manipulate the weather and bring in all these kind of things. You have your directed energy weapons you can target individuals with. You see? This is why they don't want the alternative news media. So they're looking to slay those that be of upright conversations. And part of that upright conversation is this truth, this gospel that we have. Because in this gospel, it shows you who the wicked is and it shows you how they operate. And it prepares you for whatever comes next. So they don't want that kind of truth out there, because it's beyond their control. They don't know how to control this truth. So they're trying to do everything that they can to stifle it. And part of that is coming against your so-called freedom of speech. So you're about to find out how free you really are, because you're not free. Right? You're not really free. So the 15th verse, it says, their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. In the NLT, it said, but their swords will stab their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. So this is what is about to happen. So all the plans that they have to destroy the poor and the needy, to slay such that be of upright conversation, guess what is going to happen? It will be returned upon them. Right? They've digged a hole, but they will fall into those holes they dug. You see? It says, the 16th verse, a little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. That's exactly what it is, because John Kerry and his ilk and his like, they have a lot of control, they have a lot of power, they have a lot of money. But the thing is, the little that the regular Joe out there has is better than all that they have. Because too much power and too much money that they got, all they do is evil stuff. All they think about is how they do evil, right? Because they have too much power, too much control. Nobody's locking them up. See? So we go from there to Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Book of Sirach, the 12th chapter, which is in the Apocrypha, starting from the 10th verse, it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for as the iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So the scripture right there is giving you a game, how to move. Because whether you know it or not, you have an enemy. You have an enemy. And your enemy will come at you as a friend. Just like he's talking about, and all of a sudden they care about, you not being disinformed, right? They care about you not going to news sources that are sick and, fitting your agendas, right? Would you look at that, right? So all of a sudden they care about that. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're the ones doing it. So that's why the scripture is telling you never trust thy enemy. Because they are your enemy, even though they come at you with all these words, smooth words and things of that nature. Reading on, the 11th verse, it says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him." That's John Kerry right there. He humbled himself, all lowly, as if he's so concerned with your livelihood, with your welfare, right? He's so concerned about your welfare. He's looking to stop alternative news media so you can get the right information from us. They had that slogan earlier this year, I believe, building back trust. Why are they doing that? Because a lot of people don't trust the mainstream news media anymore, right? So they're trying to build back trust, But you cannot, that's why the scripture is saying here, never trust your enemy. You cannot trust them, even though they're trying to build back whatever trust they think they're trying to build back, right? So reading on, it says, "And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and that thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away." So take good heed of these guys. When they go on these talking places, pulling out their talking points, whether it be in the WEF and, WHO and, Bilderberg groups, Davos meetings, whatever it is that they do, right? Beware of them. Watch them closely, man. Most of the times they come at you, "Oh, we need a great reset. We need to have a sustainable development, right? We need this Green New Deal where everything will be all hunky-dory." Well, the scripture is telling you, beware of him. Once they start talking like that, there's something up his sleeve, man. Once this devil start talking like that, they have something else coming, right? Be very aware of him, man. It says, the 12th verse, "Set him not by thee, lest when they have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith." So don't let these guys come close to you, man, with all these agendas. Because next thing you know, man, they will overthrow everything you got going on, right? That's why the scripture goes on in 13th verse. It says, "Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent?" Right? Because these are snakes, man. Fathead snakes. That's what they are, slithering all throughout the place, man. Right? That's what they are, slitherings, man. So if you get bitten by them, who's going to pity you? Because you should have known these guys for who they are, right? It says, "Or any such as come nigh wild beasts." So you're dealing with some beast-like individuals. That's why it's called the beast system, because it is run by these beast-like wild men. That's exactly what they are. So if you go messing around with them and get bitten, man, you have yourself to blame. You have yourself to blame. You've been warned. It's left for you to take all these warnings very seriously, man, and move accordingly. Let's get the last scripture real quick. Yep. So this is the book of Psalms, the 55th chapter and the 21st verse. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Here goes that drawing swords again, right? So the scripture here is telling you, yeah, they come at you with all this eloquent speeches, well-seasoned speeches, trying to get you to break, you know? But there's war in their heart, right? Because they have the swords drawn. They can't wait to do away with alternative news media by any means necessary. If they have to take out some people, they will do so. It's nothing for them. Bloodshed has never been anything for it. Has never been a problem. So when you see them talking like that, be very aware, like we read in Ecclesiasticus, the 12th chapter. You know, be very aware of them, because these guys, they are up to no good, literally. Very up to no good. And you catch yourself believing in them, guess what? You will pay a hefty price for that. Ask those that took the jabby jabs, right? They are paying serious hefty price for that now. You know? Because you cannot trust these guys. I don't care how smooth the words are. Because at the end of that, those words is a sword at the end of it to chop you up, man. You see? So be very aware. Be very aware. Let's read that in the NLT. It says, his words were as smooth as butter, but war was in his heart. His words were soothing as lotion, but underneath are daggers. You see that? His words were soothing as lotion. You know, you hear it, be like, oh man, they have a point. You know, maybe we should pay attention to that. Nah, there's no point there. All of that is a snare, a trick to get you in a trick bag. Once you're caught in that snare, the daggers come flying. The daggers come flying at you, man. So be very aware. Be very, very aware. And with that, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.